Hey guys, so we're back on the meat prep table here today. We got this big mammoth of a guy here, of a brisket. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna show you how we are gonna trim that down and get it ready for you to consume, right? So first things first, guys, we're gonna get our knife out. So we use a boning knife for this. We're gonna get her on the board. Now guys, you got 2 points to your brisket, right? You have a flat and then you have a point. The point is the more marbled part and the flat's the more lean. We use whole briskets here at One Pig's Fly. So, and when you come in, right, we start cutting the brisket, and depending on where you come in as to what point you're gonna get your brisket. Now, if you prefer a more lean cut or you prefer a more marbled cut, we can do either. It's just a matter of you telling us at the register. So first things first, there's generally a big fat cap that runs across the top edge here. So we're gonna take that guy off right quick. You wanna leave a little bit. You want about 1/4 of an inch for your trim on here. So that's what we're gonna try to leave. All right, then next up, guys, well, I'm gonna clean this up right here. All right, so next up, we're gonna flip this guy over. This is your underneath side here. It just needs a little cleaned up. There's usually a big knuckle of fat there. Get that out. All right, now this is where we differ from most people. A lot of people would just throw this guy on just like this. But there's a big vein of fat in the middle of this brisket. Some of you guys have probably seen it before. It's what's known as the decal. But we take that out. So it helps with your cook time. And some people would question whether that's gonna leave any juiciness to your brisket. But I don't know, I don't think anybody that's ever been in our place has had an issue with juiciness. So we're going to show you what that looks like after it's done. Here we go. So I'm gonna flip it over again. And I'm gonna expose, we're gonna go right in here. So as you can see, there's a massive layer of fat right there. Massive layer. There's also a big chunk here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate these two muscles. And I come down, and this is a little bit of a trick, takes a little bit of practice. We're gonna separate these two muscles. As you can see, fat on both sides. Both sides of my knife's got fat. So we're gonna continue to work down. Now we've got those two pieces separated. You can see these big chunks of fat that I'm talking about here, right? So I come in and clean these up. And it don't gotta be perfect here, guys. Again, You know, some people would argue whether this is gonna leave your brisket dry or not. We do leave a little bit. We just try to get the bulk of it out. I learned it from a good friend of mine, a guy who kind of taught me how to barbecue. Who's no longer with us today, but we did all our briskets that way too. Something I've been doing for years. Again, I'm sure people in Texas or anywhere else are passing out at this point, but that's a lot of fat, guys, lots of fat. So again, we're not going to worry too much about getting all of this. We're going to get the bulk of it. It's going to cut our cooking time a little bit. Not only that, but a lot of people don't like that much fat. So anyway, guys, as you can see, when people ask, why does brisket cost so much? Because that's your waste, about half. So about 40% is just trimmed meat. So, but that's how we're able to provide a good brisket, a nice lean cut, but also still having good marbling to it too. So we're gonna rub this guy up and get her on the smoker. So guys, this is our house seasoning. It's what we make here in the house from scratch. It's a mixture of salt, peppers, herbs, just a kitchen sink, if you will, of seasonings. We make that here. We use it on just about everything. So we use this house seasoning on our briskets, our pulled porks, our ribs. We use it in a lot of our ingredients, a lot of our side dishes have it in there and everything else. But we're gonna just take this brisket and we're just gonna dip this guy in here. And we're just gonna coat it. Nothing too crazy, no binders, nothing fancy. We just throw the brisket in here, give it a nice little bath. We're not rubbing too much. We're just making sure that all the surfaces have got something on it. And then once we get there, we're gonna pick it up, shake it off, and then it's gonna go out to the smoker.